Hi guys, Sandra here and welcome back to another gouache brand review. Today I'm going to try Caran Studio Gouache. If you didn't know already, I'm Swiss and I'm living in Switzerland. Caran is a brand of different art supplies made in Switzerland. I tried many of their supplies and I love using their colored pencils, but I still haven't tried their gouache, and since it's a Swiss brand, I had to try them. So today I'm going to try both their gouache in tubes and gouache in tablets. The Gouache Studio palette I'm pretty sure is the most known set that you can buy online, but if you didn't know, you can also buy the set of tubes. So today I'm going to see their differences. My friend Maddie kindly let me borrow her Gouache Studio set of 15 colors, so you might notice that it's not a brand new set, and she even bought me the tubes as a present. But I also went to my local art store where I could buy both the tubes and tablets individually, and I got one of each because I was curious about the price differences, which I noticed that buying the individual colors is a bit cheaper than buying the set. I don't think you can buy the colors individually unless you are in Switzerland. I think online you can buy only the set, but it's nice that there is the option of buying them individually, so you can replace the finished colors. Okay, first we have the Gouache Studio palette, available in set of 8 or 15 colors. By the way, I'm calling them tablets as they describe them on the website, although I think you would rather call them gouache in pens, and on the metal tin it even says gouache in cakes. What a funny description. So let me know what is the right way to describe them. And this set comes with a paintbrush and a tube of white, which comes in handy to lighten the colors. They are water-based paint with natural vegetable binder with a good light resistance, although it doesn't specify about their light fastness, which makes me assume that they are not so light fast. As first impression, when I swatched the colors, I wasn't expecting them to be so opaque since they are in tablets, which usually when you reactivate gouache from pens, you never get the same consistency and same opacity as when using gouache fresh out of the tubes. But I guess the formula here is different, so the consistency is actually nice. They are pigmented and vibrant colors, although as expected, not all colors have the same opacity. And then we have the color tubes. You can buy the set of 5, 8 or 12 colors, but here I have the individual color tubes, not from the set. I'm pretty sure they are the exact same paint as the gouache in tablets, made with the same formula. They are just in tubes form, and each tube contains 10 milliliters of paint. Although, as I was watching the colors, they seem to be slightly on a different tone, although I checked and they have the same color name. On the tubes, I read they are gouache, poster paint, and Deckfarben in German means opaque colors in English. As I've read online, poster paint and gouache are very similar, being both water-based medium and opaque colors, but they are not exactly the same. The difference between them comes to variation in their formula. I'm not an expert about this, so I will leave a link to a YouTube video in the description about their differences if you want to know more. As first impression by swatching the colors, I actually preferred swatching the gouache in tablets, as the consistency of these tubes are all different. Some are more liquidy and some more dense, but my guess is just a matter of how old these tubes are, which I bet, and I'm pretty sure, the Olive Moyen is very old, but they seem to be more opaque than the gouache in tablets. Then I made some sketches inspired by Switzerland, and now we are going to paint them. For the first painting, I'm going to be using the gouache in tablets with some white, while for the second painting I'm going to use the tubes. My small pet peeves is that when using gouache in tablets or in pens, if you are not careful and if you don't use a clean brush, every time you lift the colors get mixed together on the surface, which makes them dirty. So I personally prefer using gouache fresh out of the tube for a reason of cleanliness and tidiness, but also because, as mentioned before, you never get the same full opacity by reactivating dry gouache than when using gouache fresh off the tubes. So with fresh gouache, I can handle better the paint consistency between opaque and transparent. But honestly, to my surprise, these gouache in tablets are pretty opaque, and you can make them more opaque by just overlaying the same color, and I wasn't expecting the colors to be so opaque with a nice consistency being from tablets. To my surprise, I had a quite nice experience with them, and they don't seem bad quality, although of course they are not super opaque, and I don't consider them to be professional high quality paint. While I was working on the painting, I cleaned the brush every time I lifted the colors, so I managed to keep them clean, which made my experience way more enjoyable to work with this gouache palette. Definitely working at home, where I can change the water more often and have a proper space to work, my workflow was more tidy, but I would also assume that buying a palette like this with gouache in pens, you would rather use this palette for painting outside. But just to let you know that the metal tin is quite heavy. I mean, of course it's not that heavy, but it's not lightweight. So I don't know, but at the end you can do whatever you want and do what works better for you. And this is just my opinion. And then I painted the second drawing with the tubes. I apologize in advance because for the second painting I also used the gouache in tablets just to have a more variety of colors, but I try to use the tube as much as possible. And I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I preferred working with the gouache in tablets than the tubes. I wasn't enjoying the paint consistency of these tubes. It was lumpy and not very smooth to work with, although they aren't bad quality. I assume that these tubes are also studio gouache paint, so usually studio gouache set and poster paint are cheaper quality than professional quality gouache. They are more like a student grade, which is a midway between cheap and professional quality. They are meant for learning and practicing more than displaying and selling your original paintings. With studio gouache, you get to experience the properties of gouache having a decent quality for an affordable price. So in conclusion, between the tubes and gouache in tablets, I would recommend to buy the Gouache Studio set in tablets if you are interested to buy Caran gouache, because overall the quality was better and more enjoyable to work with, in my opinion at least. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video and that was helpful to you. Last week I took a short break for making videos as I dedicated more time on some new illustrations, which I shared them on my Instagram, but I will make a video about them soon on my channel as well, and I have more interesting videos coming up, so look forward to them. In the description I will leave my playlist of all my gouache brand reviews, so feel free to check it out. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below and I will be happy to reply to you. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye!